Do you think that you need to double your work in order to double your pay? That's not true. If you think you need to work harder or take a pay cut in order to work less, that's not true. So today I'm going to be sharing insight with you on how to double your salary without doubling your stress. Number one, signs that you are paying too much for your success. Stressed out, crazy, burning out, fighting with your boss, fighting with your family, medical conditions, high functioning anxiety, high functioning depression, all of these things that I've seen so many women, so many leaders struggle with. And the challenge that high achievers have with slowing down when they know they need to slow down is high achievers think that if they slow down, they're going to lose momentum. High achievers think that if they slow down, they're going to lose. By the time a high achiever, the go-getter, the people who are not satisfied with status quo, the people who can never have too much, the people who don't know how to stop, the people who are addicted to proving people wrong. By the time a high achiever figures out they're in trouble, you're in trouble. By the time a high achiever figures out that we're on fire, my God. Like by the time I figured out I was burning out, I was almost in my grave. By the time I figured out I was not okay, I was almost in my grave. And so the wake up call for me was in 2011 when I went to visit my family and I was sicker than my 70-year-old uncle. I was 36. How is a 36-year-old sicker than her 70-year-old uncle? I was going to die. And here's the thing. I can easily blame my boss, which let's be clear, I work for Freddy Krueger. I work with Chucky, Candyman, Jason. Give me another serial killer. All of them. I work with some of the craziest people in the world. And yeah, they were crazy. Let's be clear. The fights when you get to the executive level are pettier. I want to be 100% clear. Petty. It makes no sense. And so, yes, that was true. But what was also true is I had not managed my stress in 15 years. The Mendez brothers, yeah. The problem was I had not learned how to not be triggered by petty people in my career. I had not learned how to stop proving people wrong. I had not learned that just because they're having a bad day, that doesn't mean that I have to have a bad day. I didn't know how to disengage from people who thought I was a punk because my mama didn't raise no punk. And I went to South Carolina State. So, HBCUs, we don't play that. And so I was so busy proving that I belonged in the room that I was already in. I was so busy proving to the now I think 300 haters that I had that I was good enough or that, whatever, that I got so caught up in proving people wrong and the people who say I didn't belong there and the people who say you'll never make it. And, some of my close associates, i.e. my family, who I love, who some of them secretly wanted me to fail. They won't admit to it, but that's okay. And it's like, so here I am on the top of the mountain and I got my seat at the table and I'm too crazy to keep it. Oh, I don't know if that. The seat that I worked for 80 hours a week, burned through all my childbearing years. Okay. The seat that I fought and bled for and that I went to all the Christmas parties for. And that I laughed at all the corny jokes that I didn't think were funny. And I took all the hard jobs for. The seat that I fought and thought that was like the crown achievement of my career. By the time I got it, I was too burnt out to keep it. And so what I want to share with y'all is what we've been doing over the past, y'all been coaching for, 23 years. Professionally, for the past 8, successfully for the past 6. And so I want to share some insight with you on how I've assisted my clients with getting over $20 million in salary raises since 2020. And just this year alone, I've assisted 2 women with double their salaries. One, I'm hoping to get a report on today, and one that was last month. And so we've helped 3 women double their salaries this year. Maybe we took a break, right? 2 women got 7-figure packages. 1 woman, 3 extra salary. 1 got a 30% raise, and 1 was rehired at a job that she was laid off from at $200,000. So how do we do it? 3 steps. Let's be clear, y'all. Write them down. Everybody's wanted to know my secret recipe to getting success. I ain't gonna say everybody. Some people have wanted to know, how do we get this money? How do we assist women with saving their marriages? 30 marriages saved. How do we stop 100 women from burning out? How did we help 10 women recover while they were on FMLA? How did we get 30 women off of high blood pressure, diabetes, lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, fibroids? How do we get women off of medication? And the same applies for men too. I know I have some men watching, but how did we stop and assist 30 women who are recovering from being smoked out? Here is the key. Step 1. How do you recover from burnout? Yo, we got to get y'all to take care of yourselves. It's mindfulness. Mindfulness is the first step in the pay raise playbook. And when I think about talking to people, because I've been speaking in these streets, right? And whenever I'm talking to high achievers, which I love, when I give them the 3 keys to take care of themselves, you would think that I said, go sacrifice a baby goat on the altar. I mean, I just really want you to take care of yourself. Hey, Christy Rutherford here. Have you joined me on my mentorship community? And if not, what are you waiting for? According to a Bain study, 90% of women who got to the executive level had sponsors and mentors. And if you don't have a mentor, how do you expect to get to the next level? In this community, not only do I have my signature resume course and my course, 7 Keys to Getting the Raise, Bonus, or Promotion That You Desire and Deserve, I show up and answer your questions live. So if you want to get to the next level in your career, if you're ready to stop procrastinating and get things done, join us in this community. Go to the link prpmentor.com or use the link on around this video. I can't wait to see you on the inside and answer your questions and get you to your next level of success. Take care. So here's the thing. Meditate 3 times a week for 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes, y'all. Sit in silence. Don't pray. I didn't say pray. Don't mumble. Meditate. See if you can quiet your mind. 5 minutes. You have to train yourself in order to learn how to meditate. Just like riding a bike, right? It takes a couple of weeks to be able to get into the rhythm. But meditate 3 times a week for 5 minutes. Y'all can get a meditative app. Y'all can get on Calm, but you can also go to the 1,000 gazillion videos that they have on YouTube and meditate 5 minutes, 3 times a week. Hide in your closet, hide in your car, hide in the bathroom. It doesn't really matter where you do it. The goal is just to slow down and be able to breathe. Number 2, work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. It's only 30 minutes. Whether you go walking, bike riding, you go to the gym, you go lift weights, move your body. You have to be able to stimulate the energy that you have so you can take care of yourself. And then the last one is sleep 3 times a week, 8 hours. That's it. I mean, it's probably, I would say there are another 15 things, but if you can get those 3, you can do the other 15. If you can meditate, then you'll have time to work out. If you get some sleep, we've saved 30 marriages just by the women getting some. But whenever I share this with high achievers, they can't imagine having time to take care of the most precious vessel that is on this earth, themselves, because they're too busy with their kids. They're too busy at their job. They're too busy proving something wrong. And so your physical body is breaking down. Your mind is fracturing and shattering because you're doing too much and you're not being, right? We're addicted to doing and proving people wrong, but we're not focused on our bodies. I did it. I had 27 medical conditions when I left the military. 27. Documented. My medical records are this thick. It's volume 1 and volume 2. It's 2 of them. I just didn't stop, right? And I paid a heavy price for it, not only with my physical health, with my mental health. And so I've been sharing that it took me 4 years to recover mentally after I burned out, but I really think it was about 7. It took 4 years for me to be able to be a cognitive, responsible adult. But it was another 3 years where I think I singed all the neurons in my brain. It took another 3 to like fully recover. The information that I'm sharing with y'all is we've done it. We've assisted people with doing it. Men can also capture the information and put it into effect. It's the same thing. Number 1 is how to recover from burnout. Mindfulness. Take care of yourself, period. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, what's the point of getting more money if you're too exasperated to keep it? Y'all have seen super successful people kill themselves. Money wasn't enough. Fame wasn't enough. The things that you say you want, and if I just had these things, then I would take care of myself. If I get the raise, and if I just push through one more time, then I'll take care of myself. Then I'll work out. Then I'll take care of my mental health. Then I'll start to meditate. Then I'll do yoga. But the problem is y'all are breaking down along the way, and that is blocking your promotability. So what does taking care of yourself have to do with getting money? Everything. It's the foundational thing. It's everything. What's the point of getting money if you're crazy? What's the point of getting money if your spouse leaves? What's the point of getting the dream job if your kids don't know you? So if you come back to yourself first, then you're able to give to other people. But the thing that high achievers, we've trained people to need us, and we've trained ourselves to not give anything to ourselves because we think it is a badge of honor to be a martyr to service. That's unfortunate because a lot of people are paying the price for that. So number 1, how to recover from burnout, take care of yourself. It's not that hard, but it is. And whenever y'all see my podcast, if y'all ever watch my podcast and y'all hear my clients say that I drag them, this is why. You try to get a high achieving alpha woman to take care of herself. My God, I need the strength of Goliath and the help of the Lord to be able to do it. That's number 1. Number 2, mindset. Now we have to realign your goals. Once you get your mind right, once we be able to get some of your brain cells right, once we're able to create in me, Lord, a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. Once we're able to be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. God must have known we was going to get messed up. Once you're able to think clearly and not see that the whole world is against you, see how you're being manipulated by the people who say that there is no money while watching people with money get more money. I don't understand that. Right? So like I talk to women and they say that argue with me that they can't make more money. Like, why am I, if I'm telling you that you can make more money because we've done it, why do I have to argue with you? I mean, they want to knock down, drag out to get them to believe that they can have that because they've been told again and again and again and again that they can't make more money. So then that becomes your belief system and that becomes your reality. So once we're able to get you mentally stable enough to be able to receive information, now let's work on your mindset. Now we have to realign your goals. Are you where you want to be? Or are you where they said you couldn't be? I should have warmed y'all up. Does the job that you're doing, do you even want that? Or are you so far in your career because they say you couldn't? Yo, now I love my career and I was successful. This mouth had no business in the military. Somebody who don't like being told what to do. I chose that job, and I talked about this in my previous podcast, Awakening Through Adversity. That was a guaranteed job when I graduated from college. I wasn't supposed to make it a long-term career. So I chose my career out of safety. And then I tried to go to security, and that almost killed me. I got so addicted to proving people wrong that they say I ain't belong there. I'm 15, 16 years down the road. I should have left at 3 to 5 years. When I think about where you are in your career right now, if you're not that happy, it's how do you take all of it with you and now create a new reality as opposed to taking a pay cut to go to a new industry to get aligned with where you thought you should be. And so when I talk to a lot of people who be like, well, I want to switch to a new industry. I'm a newbie. You are a 45-year-old grown person. You're never new. You're never a beginner. You're 45. So the goal is, how do you take all of what you've done, all of it, and now bring it to bear and say, this is my unique skill set to be able to offer you, and I'm going to require my value for it. So that's realigning your goals and getting your mindset right. And another part of it is figuring out what's your trauma default. And so this conversation today, I appreciate y'all being with me. This conversation today, I'm setting up the conversations, what I'm going to talk about in 2025, the whole year. I'm just going to lay out the whole playbook for y'all to show you like exactly what to do. And it took a while because we out here getting results. I know how to execute. I didn't necessarily know how to market it cleanly to show y'all how it's all like this. So people think that health, marriage, job, kids, motherhood, mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, emotional intelligence. Y'all thinking that it's like this, being a daughter and a son and a caregiver and this. Y'all have it like this. Is actually one person, it's you. So I had to figure out, how do I take all this information and just be like, it's just this person that's going to create all these things that they want in their life. So let's rock with me. Realigning your goals and mindset. Now let's talk about your trauma default. Figuring out your trauma default is the most important thing that you can do for yourself to be able to move the needle forward. And what is trauma default? Trauma default is, what is your default response to stress? What is your default response to conflict? What is your default response to somebody pissing you off, right? What is your default response to the time that you're getting ready to take risks? Because that's rooted in something. And so a lot of people are living with the reactions of their childhood mind. I'm going to give y'all 2 examples. I was talking to one of my college classmates earlier this year, and I told him about trauma default. He's like, I ain't got no trauma, Chris. I'm good. Okay, King. Okay, I get you. Okay, that's cool. You don't have nothing. That's cool, right? I think that everybody, if you ain't worked on yourself since 2020, everybody look crazy. Let's talk about it, though. He grew up on a dirt road in South Carolina. Now, he got money. He's worked. He's successful. He's uber successful. He has the wife and the kids and the house and the car and all these things. But when his wife wants to spend money, oh, no, they ain't got it. She wants to go on vacation. Oh, no, they don't have it. He got plenty of money saved, y'all. Plenty. He got money stacked. But whenever she wants to do something with the money outside of the security that he keeps stacking, it's too much. So we talked about her, him spending money for her to get this job or something. That was a lot of money, but that was added to the security bucket of, we need to stack our money. Anything outside of that, they don't have it. And so once we talked for like 10 minutes about it. He said, oh my God, I do have trauma. So trauma isn't always about abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, being hungry as a kid. Trauma could just be the trauma default is your default response to conflict or fear or risk or doing something outside of being comfortable. So your comfort zone is keeping you living over here. His comfort zone is keeping him from experiencing world travel because he ain't got it, but he does have it. Another example, one of my clients was not deemed as a leader in her job. They say, you're not a leader. You can't be promoted. And she couldn't figure out why. And she grew up, had money, all these things, college educated. Mom was educated. But what would happen was when somebody said something to her, she would cuss them out. And if she would chase you down the hallway and cuss you out, chase you, say something at work. Of course, they're toxic. She's in a toxic work environment. Everybody else has a problem. But what we figured out was her cousin called her ugly in front of his girlfriend when she was like 13. She remembered where she was. She remembers the situation. She remembers the look on the girlfriend's face when he said it. She remembered, and she didn't stick up for herself. So it's 2 times in her early childhood where she didn't stick up for herself. So now here she is, 40-something years old. And if you put her in a situation where she doesn't feel like she stuck up for herself, it's over. She goes overboard. As I'm watching a lot of rhetoric in these LinkedIn and Instagram streets and TikTok, especially when women are told that they're overreactive, y'all get y'all hurt. They're actually telling you what you're doing. When they're telling you that you don't have executive presence, you get your feelings hurt. You don't really know what they're talking about. When they tell you that you're too assertive, you might just be aggressive. It ain't that they punks. They're trying to tell you, but your inability to receive constructive feedback is stopping your promotability. But she didn't really know she was doing that, y'all. And the last one, I told you I was going to be out 3 because I want to drop this point home. I talked to a lady who worked at an organization and she was going to quit, and they gave her a $200,000 raise. I was like, what? And so, like, they didn't want to lose her. This top talent, they gave you a $200,000 raise to keep you. And she kept talking about how toxic they were. And I was like, well, tell me what's going on. And I actually did this in a podcast where I talked about how maternal abuse affects your promotability. This is in the previous podcast. But I was like, so what's going on? She said, well, when the men are talking in the room, they always talk over her, right? When it pops off in the room, they always yield to the 2 men who work for her to check their schedules. They never talk to her. I was like, okay, I kind of knew the patterns. One day I'm going to do a podcast on patterns, but I already knew she grew up in an abusive home. I've talked about this. I will say it again for the new people. Typically, I ain't gonna say all the time, this isn't a blanket statement, but typically for some women, when some women get into conflict and they grew up in an abusive home where their father abused their mom, they have 2 reactions. Either they gonna go nuck if you buck, or they gonna fight you because they don't want to be like their mom, or if they learn how to hide, they turn into a church mouse and then they disappear. What was happening with her, leadership is conflict. Leadership is egos. Leadership is chest bump culture. That's what executive leadership is. We should be able to fight, cuss each other out, and then we go to lunch with the serial killers. Right? Because we're all trying to get to like whatever point A is. We don't agree on how we're going to get there. So we have to duke it out. A lot of times ego steps in, but we duke it out. And then we get to the point and then we go to lunch. So what would happen is when conflict popped off in the room, she would disappear to the wallpaper. She gone. She's not in the room, y'all. That's why they keep talking to the men, because she's not there. She gone. And I told her that. She was like, oh my God, you're right. But that works for me. I said, no, ma'am, that worked for you. Your trauma default works for you at a certain level in your life because you're in survival mode to be able to escape whatever you came from. But at a certain level, if y'all get stuck in the middle or wherever you're stuck at, that's where you're going to have to start to look at that stuff and unpack it. That worked for her because the results that she wanted wasn't showing up. How she wanted to be seen in her organization and how she was really showing up was the problem. And so it's easy to say your job is the problem and the job is the root cause of everything that you're going through. That's not true. It's not true, y'all. We started with mindfulness. Take care of yourself. Mindfulness is recovering from burnout. Number 2, realign your goals by getting your mindset right. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And the last one is money. Reclaim your value. Once you start to take care of yourself, once you start to get your mindset right, once you start to come back to yourself, once you enter into a state of wholeness, once you start to realign your goals and then get clear on what you're passionate about and what you actually like to do and who you actually are, and you stop being triggered by petty people, or you stop being triggered by people who aren't, it's just your response to them is what's created the conflict. Now let's go get the money. That's how the money shows up, like that. Once my client stopped cussing people out and chasing them around the hallway, she got a raise, $90,000. But not only that, she was interviewing with some organizations. Interview was over with at 5:30. They called her at 9 o'clock at night, was like, my God, just, hey, how much? How much? We got to have you on our team. If you want to stand out in these streets of AI and limitations or whatever story is that y'all are telling yourself right now, if you want to stand out, be at peace and have passion. Peace and passion are what's missing in the world today. Having your peace and being able to have a harmonious conversation and being passionate about what you do is going to set you apart from anybody who is going for anything in these times of normalized chaos, in these times of high functioning anxiety and high functioning depression and imposter syndrome and tell me how great I am. In these times, having your peace and knowing exactly who you are, what you bring to the table, how much money you want, and being passionate about what you do is going to set you apart from anybody. And so somebody just asked me, should I follow the passion or should I follow the money? The money follows the passion. So it's mindfulness first, mindset, which is going to get clear on what your passion is. Then the money comes. What's the point of getting money if you working in a job that you hate? What's the point of getting money if you didn't go to work today to make friends? Those are people who being showed the door first. Y'all being laid off first. Y'all getting your feelings hurt first. And so with one of the women who just recently doubled her salary last month, she had to work through like some of the things that were going on because she was laid off. She had 25 years experience and she got clear. We helped her heal from burnout and she was tired and all these other kind of things. But then she didn't have no passion. She had no juice. So even the jobs that she was interviewing for, they weren't double the salary. But when you talk to her about it, she had no juice. I said, man, I'll come take your job. I'll just be like, I'm not qualified, but I'll look it up on a YouTube video. This is why people who don't have your credentials get hired over you, because you can teach people what to do. You can't teach passion. You can train somebody on skill set, but you can't train them on being a good fit in the organization. You can't resuscitate somebody who is lost, angry, tired, bitter, or desperate. So all these people who be like, just give me a chance. I'm a good person. Nope. Can you solve my problem? Do you want to be here? Do I want to work with you? Do I like you? It's the passion. Once she figured out that all the things that she did in her career, which I looked at her LinkedIn profile, I'm almost sure it was DEI. It ain't DEI no more. She changed it to be sales. She said, I was selling anyway. Double her salary, boom, like that. She walked in the room. She was like, oh, I'm going to kill it. Oh, sales? Sales is my jam. This is what I do. She gets so excited when she talks about it. And they told her that they didn't have a cap on what she could do. She was like, y'all don't have a cap on how much money I can make? She want to 4X her salary next year. She just got hired in this job. She starts in January. She was like, oh, I'm going to beat the brakes off this thing. These some suckers. These, y'all don't have a cap on how much money I can make? The top earner make $500,000? My God. Oh, she going to beat the brakes off of it. So y'all see how I said, like, that's how she was doing. Once she figured out it wasn't DEI. DEI is cool, but she was burnt out from that. Sales is her jam. That's when they was like, man, come in this door. They opened the door, swung it open for her and was like, yeah, there ain't no cap on sales. You can make how much ever you want. She was like, oh, I'm going to beat the brakes off of this thing. Passionate and not opposed. People want people who are passionate on their team and not just people with the post. And the last point I'm going to make when it comes to the money part, reclaim your value. Here's the thing about money. I see a lot of posts that talk about It don't take 5 interviews. Yes, it does. It don't take all that. Just interview me and give me the job. They don't work like that. Not at the 150, 200, 300, $400,000 jobs. They don't work. My client she's been in a process for 4 months. She's been in the hiring process for 4 months to double her salary. And this is why I think a lot of women, a lot of Black women, y'all come for me if y'all want to, I don't care, don't make over $100,000 a year because y'all don't last in the 4-month process. You want the easy conversation. Apply for the easy jobs where you get the quick win. Well, it ain't no win if you're 40 years old making $85,000 a year. That's not a win if you got an MBA and you make $110,000 when you should be at $600,000. This is how we've tripled salaries here. 2 7-figure packages. This is how we got non-Black women 7-figure packages because y'all over there making $150,000 when you should be at 1.5 million, which is what I did for my client last year. Can you last the fit scale? They're not playing tricks. They're not playing games. It costs 1.5 times the amount of a salary for a bad hire. If you coming in just want a job and you just want an easy process, I think this is what I've learned this year. This is why I think some women don't apply for jobs over $150,000, $170,000 because the process is a little bit more rigorous. It does take all of that. It does take 5 interviews. It does take meeting 25 people. I had a client who went from $210,000 to $635,000 in 4 months. After we got her to take care of herself, then we got her mindset right. She saw who she already was. Yo, we're not getting degrees. You see who you already are. She has 5 or 6 interviews. She met 25 people. So if she wanted to go from 210 to 635, she had to be able to meet 25 people. If they're going to pay her $635,000, you got to meet everybody. Because they're trying to see whether or not you like us and do we like you. That's what an interview is. Interviews are not warfare. Interviews are to determine, do you like us and do we like you? Y'all, they are looking for somebody to hire. They're not always trying to play in your face. They're not trying to bring you in at the cheapest rate. They actually want top talent. There has been a talent gap in leadership for the past 10 years. You know where that talent gap is? Overqualified, underpaid, unemployed women who are sitting at their desk settling for crumbs when they leave the whole cake on the table. Because y'all got all of these things that you haven't worked on, your mindset and taking care of yourself to be able to last the process of getting the job that you deserve. And so the last point I'm going to make, and I'm going to get out of here. How do you double your salary? Understand that you are an appreciating asset. You are an appreciating asset. Whenever I talk to women about how much money you make, how much you want to make, yeah, extra $5,000. Wait, huh? Right? Like what? Okay, and I like to check people's LinkedIn profile. We'll talk about that later in another podcast. On you begging for a job, your profile ain't even set up properly. A lady inboxed me a couple months ago. She was like, "Hey, Christy, you're awesome, and I want to do a consultation." Well, I don't do one-on-one coaching, and I don't do one-hitter quitters, because if I take your money, which I'm expensive, I want to be clear. If I allow you to pay me for an hour, we're not solving the right problem. I just gave y'all the 3 points: mindfulness, mindset, money. She was going straight for the money. She's like, "Oh my God, Christy, I got these people who want me to work for them. I don't have a number." So you're applying for jobs, but you don't know your value? You're applying for jobs, you don't know how much you're going to ask for? "Oh my God, can we get on the phone?" I said, "Well, let me know how much you want. I'll beat you in the head right now." Y'all don't get in my LinkedIn inbox, but I had time. I think I was sitting on the plane. I got time. "How much you gonna ask for?" Y'all, she sent a message that's like this long. I just asked, "How much you gonna ask for?" She gave me 10 reasons. She never gave me a number. I said, "How much?" "Well, I'm making 110 right now. I'm thinking about asking for 115. So you gonna leave the job where you know all the minefields and the haters and the good people to make an extra $5,000? That is not a win. Y'all are clocking wins saying, oh, I got a new job. Y'all taking $100,000 pay cuts to get on LinkedIn and say you got a new job so everybody can clap for you. I'm not clapping till I know how much you making. I'm not clapping. How much? How much? Oh, you got a $5,000 raise? That's not a win. Not with 15, 20 years experience. You're making 110,000. I want to make 115. I said, man, your value is 325. She was like, what? She didn't want to do the work. I said, see, this is what I'm talking about. Stay in the raggedy job that you got now, because they're not the problem. Come over here and work with us. Let me show you the 3 steps. Mindfulness, mindset, get your money. We'll triple your salary in 4 months. She didn't believe it. She probably went to go pay somebody. That's okay. I'm okay. We're not for everybody. How do you double your salary without doubling your stress? Understand that you are an appreciating asset. An Hermes bag doubles in value in 5 years. If a dead alligator can double its value, what more can a man or woman do? What more can a woman do? All the experience that you have, everything that you've done, all the late nights and the projects and the emails that you've answered and the projects that you've put together and the results that you've gotten for your company, you're not taking credit for any of that. It's not on your LinkedIn profile. It's not on your resume because you don't want to seem braggadocious. It's not bragging if it's true. The number that you start at is not the number that you should be at. Your current salary, if you're already complaining that you overworked, underpaid, undervalued, underemployed at this level, this is not the baseline where you should start when it says, I make 110, let me go make 125. No, this number is wrong. I'm going to draw it out in my future podcast over the next couple of months. So that's all I got, y'all. So we're going to recap. Pay raise playbook, 3 moves. Mindfulness, you got to take care of yourself, recover from burnout. 2, mindset. Now it's the mindset shift of where do you really want to be? What skill sets do you have? What are you really passionate about? What do you want to do? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What's going to get you excited? What's going to make you whole? It's not your job, y'all. They're not the problem. How you're showing up in your job is the problem. And I'm not saying that you don't work with crazy people. But you probably got some stuff going on too that if you address that, it won't follow you into your next job. So mindset, realign with your goals and getting clear on who you are, where you want to be, what you're passionate about. Now let's go get the money. Reclaim your value. God will redeem the time. He will restore all that was lost, that the cankerworms and the locusts ate. He will redeem the time. I do this all day. This is what we do. Nobody does it better. Nobody does it faster. So we are working in my private community on 90 days to burnout recovery. And this is going to be the mindfulness piece. This is going to be the baseline lessons and insight that I'm going to be teaching. And it's going to be in my private community, prpmentor.com. Y'all can join us there. prpmentor.com is my mentorship community where we're going to be talking about this. And I'm going to guide y'all step by step, week by week on how to recover from burnout so you can get the money that you deserve. You can get the peace that you deserve. You can have the life that you want. You can have the life and be the person that your kids deserve and that your spouse deserves and your family deserves, because thinking that you're stuck where you are is not true. Thinking that your life is just going to continue to be bland and not passionate, that's not true. Thinking that all hell is going to break loose after January 20th, that's not true unless you allow it to be true. More money is made in chaos than it is in calm times. And you have the choice of whether or not you're going to make the money or you're going to be a victim of what's going on. Become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, and your life will never be the same for the best. prpmentor.com. Take care, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your support is greatly appreciated. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. What I want you to ponder on this week: what is your greatest takeaway from this episode, and what is one action you're going to take to change your life for the better? Lastly, get your pay gap calculator. to see how your pay compares to the market value of what others are getting paid. Text pay gap, all one word, to 66866. Again, pay gap to 66866, or use the link below this video or podcast. Get this insight, use it, and get paid what you desire and deserve. See you in the next episode.